everybody, this is Heidi, and I have Zach Lamplaugh, and today we're going to talk about his film, which I absolutely loved, and it's just been with me all day. I want to watch it again, and I want to share it with you guys too, so we'll find out maybe how we can see it. But Zach, welcome to Vibrant Visionaries.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So I found out about you because you were on one of the panels at Chattanooga Fest.
Yeah.
And then we were chatting through Twitter, and oh my God. So, okay. 15 things you didn't know about Bigfoot.
Yeah. ...
My first podcast was all about This is Spinal Tap. So I already felt like, okay, this is like a place that I can really relate to. And then my husband and I have a tangential like love of Bigfoot, and we have traveled to some of the spots and, you know, seen some of the films, and it's just it's a place that's like a touchstone for us too. So, well, we thought it was absolutely hilarious. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm finding out there's a lot more of you guys than I previously thought. There's at least like 2 or 3 people at every festival we went to were coming up to us and were like, just so you know, I'm obsessed with Bigfoot. You know, like, and it wasn't people. I think people assume that it's always like a hairy dude in jean shorts from Tennessee or something, but often it's not. Often it's like just some regular person who's just like, I'm really into this. I had no idea there was so many.
Yeah, totally. What was some of your reference material for making? Because I love all. It's like kind of not found footage, but a footage. You know, it's a doc style film.
Yeah.
But there's also like you're also seeing other people's documentaries within it, or you know, it's playing around with a lot of different things. That kind of reminds me of like when Jonah Ray did his, and then he has Anthony Bourdain, like they end up cross connecting. Did you ever see that?
That was his show on CISO?
Yeah. And
it's called like something places with Jonah Ray. I can't remember.
Yeah, and there was one episode where like I think he and Anthony Bourdain basically end up in the same place at the same time, you know? So
nice.
I kind of thought about that when I saw it. But yeah, what were some of your what was some of your reference material for this?
Pop star, never stop, never stopping, for sure. So I think there's kind of a difference between found footage and mockumentary. Like mockumentary, the cameraman is not a character. And in found footage, the cameraman is possibly the main character, you know, in the whole movie. Or at least like a secondary character, and actually is a person that adds to the story. So like I told our producer, like I was like, I want this to be the cameraman's a person, just like in Creep. Like we're following this person's story, but I want it to be like as off the wall funny as Pop Star. Like I want it to feel like we're watching Pop Star if Pop Star was a haunted movie or like a haunted house movie or something like that, you know? So I've always loved like those kind of screwball comedies. I don't know if you'd call that screwball, like Pop Star, Anchorman, that kind of stuff. Any of those comedies. So I wanted to do something in that vein.
Yeah, I also thought of like on Kroll Show they had Ghost Bouncers. I don't know if you ever saw.
Yes, yeah. Dude, Kroll Show is great. They destroyed making fun of reality TV for everybody. They really.
That's one of my shows I definitely come back to a lot. Like I can throw on Kroll Show anytime, and
oh yeah,
it just every single episode has.
Pennsylvania is like great. Oh yeah, before Mayor of Easttown, we had Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was some of your resource material. I definitely get it, and I'm a big Mark Duplass fan too.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so for those folks who haven't seen the film yet, you are the cameraman in it. You're the producer. It's your name. And so I was curious about the cast because that was a absolutely terrific cast. Everybody, like even if they had like the tiniest little part, it was just fantastic. So what was casting like?
So long before I ever made a movie, I used to run this show called Ladies Night in Atlanta, where it was a short film competition, and every month we would have like 6 or 7 brand new shorts from all the local filmmakers, including myself. And out of the 4 or 5 guest people that were, they were like the submissions, like the local filmmakers that were sending us stuff, whoever won from there had to come back the next month with a new thing that they just made and like defend the title. The idea being it would exhaust you until you would get better. And also like everybody would get funnier because they learned what the crowd liked. They learned like what a theater wanted to see. But I was a psychopath and I did it every month for 3 years.
Wow.
So there was like 3 or 4 months where I took it off like here and there, but me and my friends, Brian and Joel. Brian's in the movie. And Joel is too. He's one of the redneck guys. He's the redneck that believes in Bigfoot. Between the 3 of us, every month we would do 2 short films, 2 or 3. So anyway, so aside from like just sitting and watching your work with a theater full of people and like learning those lessons, we built a huge list of local actors that were great. And like we already had seen everybody in my movie, I've seen in at least 5 shorts. So like I already know like what's funny about them. You know, I know that sounds like typecasting, but I've seen Graham, the guy Darren Edwards in our movie, who's like the camouflage expert. I've already seen him do like a serious thing and a goofy thing, and like seen him act, this, and like maybe someone put him in a thing and it kind of didn't work, but then they put him in a different thing and it's like very funny. So I already like know, I'm like, oh, I have a perfect part for Graham. I'll just like call him. So I had everybody just show up and just had it ready for them to nail it, and everybody did too. Everybody that's in the movie is a super professional.
What was your own internal green light that said like, it's time for me to make my first feature film?
Well, I'd made like 100 shorts, like at that point. So all right. So let me see. I'd moved to Atlanta. This movie was made in Atlanta. Like that was where I was living. And I'd been working on this show. Like I said, we've been doing it every month and, cutting your teeth and everything. And then on top of that, I had edited on a couple shows at Adult Swim. I'm an editor for my day job. So I'd edited on Squidbillies and Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell and a couple other like little projects they had. We wrote a pilot that didn't get made. It was like somebody wanted it from us and we did it. And and then they also paid to produce it, which was very nice of them. But ultimately at the end of the day, like it didn't get picked up. The script was, so, you want to like please people the first time you make something, and the first time they have a pilot, you want to like do what all the producers and execs, anybody that gives you notes, you're like, yes, I'll do those notes. So then at the end of it, we had like this produced like 8-minute long pilot, like a sizzle reel, not like a real pilot, but like a pilot. And then a script that I didn't really like because I'd taken so many notes on it that it kind of sucked. And then the pilot, the full sizzle they made, like I wasn't nuts about that either. And it was like 18 months of my life. So it was like, and those guys are great. Like I'm more than happy to work with them again. And I still am working with them on other stuff, but like you get to a point where you're like, so you spent like over a year making something and you don't like it. So I think we realized we'd rather spend like a year making something that's undeniably us. And then if people hate it, that means they hate us. And that's fine. Then if people hate it, then we just suck. And that's cool. So, that's why we set out to make something, because we were like, we need that first thing to point at and be like, look, we made this. Like, it's good. Do you like it? And if you don't like it, that's fine too.
Yeah, what I've noticed too with projects where I end up realizing, that I'm just trying to like please a bunch of people versus like follow my true creative spirit is that then when you do, like, say you've got that sizzle reel or whatever, whatever the end product is that your energy around it is kind of like, this is us. Like, it's so much different than like, this is us. Like, yes, we did this thing and we're so excited about it. And it's going to find the right audience, or there'll be people that don't like it. Because that's what sucks about doing those projects that aren't really your true voice, is that then the people that like it aren't really the fans of what your
what you bring to the
right?
table. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. I'd rather just try and make, but I mean, there's cons to doing it your own way too. Cause I mean, there's less money, there's less resources, there's less everything. So it's not necessarily, so previously it was, getting a bunch of notes and taking a bunch of notes and trying to navigate like a social thing. And the other way, it's like, you're just trying to navigate a money thing. You know what I mean? You're just trying to be like, well, we can't afford to do all this green screen. So it's just going to have to look like this, which is also fun though. Cause a lot of times those solutions that you come up with are creative and people bring something that makes the product better. You know what I mean? So also happy to do that. It's just, it's always like a give and take, but yeah, I felt like ultimately we needed to do something. We just needed to kick it up a notch from making any more shorts.
And so what do you feel like now that you've finished that project? What do you feel like you've learned that you're like taking into whatever your next project is?
Just be more patient. I feel like this project was like, I love it. And I it's what I wanted it to be. But, I do feel like if we took like 2 years on it instead of 1 year, I don't know, maybe not. I feel like if we took like 2 years on it instead of 1 year, maybe it could have been better. But also it might not have happened, or it might, we might have just been sitting on our hands for like 6 months. We waited on some more, whether it's like money or cast or writing or like anything, while you wait on just more. You can wait on more, but it might not pan out, So, and I'm realizing, because like I said, I edit for my day job. I'm realizing how much, like when you get to upper levels, it is just like, look at the product, think about it for a long time, and then come back to it in like a week, you know what I mean? Or let some other people do it. When you get to like that level of like working with professionals who are like actually making television shows, it is a lot of just like, we all just need time to look at it and think about it, And then they also need, this sounds inefficient, but some of the like better shows I've worked on do just kind of like, they're like, just take it and why don't you just do a whole pass? And then they look at it and they're like, we don't like it at all. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like letting people spin their wheels to try and make it better. Cause if you even get like, if an editor or something gives you like 10 suggestions and you take 2, like that's valuable, it still increases the show just a little bit, so it goes from being like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes to like a 92%. And then like, if you just keep running it through different people's ideas, you can really get it up there. And it's just patience. At that point, it's just patience of just being like, we just need to take a lot of time, Yeah.
And I think that's all kind of counter to like the hustle culture, or the like, look how quickly I got this done culture, whatever you want to call it. Like, just that the part of the creative process is the ruminating and the daydreaming, or the getting out of the house and looking at things from a different perspective, or re-listening. I always think of like when I was in bands as a singer or band leader, we record something, and then the first thing we do after we listen to it is listen. And almost everybody, the first recording is like, yeah, we fucking nailed it. Like we're all so excited about it. And then the next time you listen, you start to hear, oh, we kind of, and then it's like, it's this whole process of like, what are the things that we want to leave in because that's a natural, good feeling, whatever. And then what are the things we do really want to like finesse more?
Yeah, we got accepted into Austin Film Fest, and then we were still editing it. I think we got accepted in like June or July, and we were still like, some of it was just like, oh crap, we need to get a mix. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, not creative stuff. But then a lot of it was just like, shit, we need to fix this scene. We need to fix a lot of this stuff. So that was, if we budget ourselves some more time, but also sometimes when you budget yourself more time, things don't get done. So it's kind of both worlds.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
What, as far as the script went, was there improv also, or was it mostly just what was on the page?
So we had a script. Like a lot of people, I think, assume that like, improv is going to mean like an improv show where it's like there's no script, we're so wild. We had like a workable script that had all the lines start to finish, and this movie has a lot of callbacks. So I was having to like kind of be the cops about like we got to say it just like this because in 80 pages you say it exactly the same way again. We can't have it not track. So we had like a workable script, but then also because it was such a small like cast and production, like if the actors thought of anything funny, like of course I'm like, yeah, let's just do that. We can like take that line for a spin if we got time. So it was, and also everybody in this most people in this are like professionally trained actors. A lot of them went to like acting conservatories and stuff, and they are just killing it with just being super funny. Like I feel like a lot of people assume that like you get like a stand-up comedian or somebody from an improv theater or something like that. But like if you get like a classically trained actor and explain to them like how the scene is funny, they'll just nail it. People don't think like, oh, a dramatic actor is good for that. No, they're like great at it.
Yeah, that reminds me of, and I don't know what his history is, but like as far as schooling or whatever, but like if you were introduced to John Hamm as only being
that's what I was just thinking of, was John Hamm in 30 Rock when he has the like hook hands and stuff. Dude, he's normally a dramatic guy, but they're like, somebody told him, it's very funny if you're handsome and stupid. Yeah. If you're incredibly well spoken and dumb as hell. And he just ran with it for like a whole season,
So hilarious. And then I just was rewatching the final season of Kimmy Schmidt.
Okay.
And he's a main side character throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
But they have one episode that is a mockumentary episode. And in fact, for a while, Netflix even had it under documentaries as like its own documentary called Party Monster. And if you haven't seen that, it's absolutely hilarious. You will definitely love it. Anybody listening or watching, if you haven't seen Party Monster, it is a wonderful mockumentary, and he's fantastic in it.
I'm going to check that out. I still haven't watched Kimmy Schmidt all the way through. It's like that kind of, I think that kind of came out when I was writing this script. So I was just like bogged down with this stuff.
Sure.
Everybody was like, you got to check out Kimmy Schmidt. And I was like, I've just got this movie. And then now that the movie's like released, I feel like I've like woken up from this slumber, but I still haven't caught up on everything.
Yeah. I highly recommend going back. I mean, if you're a fan of 30 Rock, I think it's, and the thing about it that I like, many things, but besides it's got the speed of 30 Rock, which can be annoying when you're like, oh my God, so many jokes are going by me. But what I always think about it is I'll just catch more jokes on the rewatch or the re-listen. Sometimes I'll do something else so I can only hear it and not even watch it, so I can hear some of the jokes. But it's got puppets throughout it, like major characters as puppets. It's got one of the leads that has an incredible singing voice, and I think he does things that are parody, but are also beautiful and moving. And so like when I think about your film where it's a mockumentary, but there's also like, thoughtful, sweet moments throughout it as well. And like this show, I can watch it and like, oh my God, I can appreciate that you're doing this funny thing, but you're also moving me because your voice is like absolutely gorgeous. But Party Monster, even if you just feel like sitting down and watching one really funny thing, man, that is
nice.
Hilarious episode.
I'm going to check that out. I think I watched the first season of Kimmy Schmidt, and then I kind of dropped off after that, but I need to check it out because it was really funny.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about it for our time today. It's been fantastic talking with you. Where can people see this movie?
Yes, it's on Amazon. It's on iTunes. It's on like Vudu. It's anywhere you can like rent. I think it's doing the best numbers on Amazon, so check it out there, I guess. And rate and review it, baby. You gotta rate and review and rate us on iTunes.
Awesome.
Or not iTunes, Rotten Tomatoes. Screw iTunes. Rotten Tomatoes. No, it's funny if you go look at our reviews, which I don't like. I think the bad ones are funnier to me. Like, a lot of people get upset, but our reviews, some of them are like, I know we have at least one bad review on Amazon that's like, the subtitles didn't work, and then they gave us like a 1. You know, it's like, dude, you can't. You're the one that can't figure out your Roku. Yeah, and then we have at least. Oh, and then there's a handful of like Bigfoot hunters. There's a handful of Bigfoot hunters who are taking it very personally. Who have written like, can't believe you're using Bigfoot's name for this nonsense. This is typical slander. That Bigfoot. Yeah, it's great.
Speaking of that, if you
go start a fight in the comments with them. Be like, I love the slanderous use of Bigfoot's name. If there's one thing I like about this movie, it's how much it treats Bigfoot like shit. Just go start a fight with those guys.
Speaking of Bigfoot, before I bid you adieu, are there other like Bigfoot related films or books or anything that you do really enjoy getting into or reading or watching?
So we actually went that Bigfoot festival in the movie is a real Bigfoot festival. We actually went to North Carolina and spoke to some real researchers and everything. And I actually had a researcher who was occasionally consulting on my script to make sure it was accurate, to make sure that we were doing it right. And that dude had some wild evidence to show me. Go check out the Great North tape. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
Like, here's what happened is, now I'm like kind of really into like the Bigfoot stuff or just finding new evidence. Somebody went and filmed a documentary that was not about Bigfoot. It was like Planet Earth or something. They were trying to just create a documentary about caribou. And years later, after it was edited, somebody was like, is that Bigfoot in the back? And sure enough, there's something back there. And then they also asked about, like he was like, I don't know what that is. We filmed it. I don't know what the heck that is. And researchers or people asking if it was a hoax or whatever were like, oh, well, it's crew. It's like crew back there. And he was like, there was no crew on that side of the river. Like, we wouldn't put crew in the middle of a stampede.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
I'm going to find this.
Okay. I'm going to let you do that.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Did you see his Bigfoot
Yes,
film?
I've seen his. Yeah. His is like, it's very, very slice of life. Yeah.
It does have creepy ass stuff right towards the end of it, though. I mean, it gets into like scary. Yeah,
his touches on. There's a lot of Bigfoot. There's a lot of sexual assault in the Bigfoot like lore. You know, yeah, quite a bit. There's like, everybody I spoke to is a lot of sexuality with Bigfoot. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that or enjoy it or celebrate it or am interested in it, but there's quite a bit.
Yeah, my friend Pam, who loves Bigfoot, she has sent me, every once in a while, she'll send me a podcast of interest, something. And there's definitely ones, and I don't remember the name of the podcast itself, but like where people are telling stories, right? They're Bigfoot sightings and stuff. And I remember one of them, the guy was talking about how he was taken out, very sincere, very like, was taken out into the woods, and they took me to their little home, and like telling this whole story of
Bigfoot did this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he kept saying that the female was very attractive.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like it's almost like furries, but a little bit more like evolution based. Yeah. Some of it is, not all of it.
So to wrap up everything, Zach, thank you so much for talking with me. It was really great. And 15 things you didn't know about Bigfoot. And then I love the first one will...
Number one will blow your mind.
Number one will blow your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be like Don't Be a Menace in South Central. It's going to be like that, where people just remember it as Don't Be a Menace, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, really, really fun. Thanks for sharing the film with me. And I look forward to sharing it with everybody and making sure that, leave those reviews, everybody.
Yes.
Watch it on...
Please send combative reviews.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. See you later, everybody.
See ya.